GM fam, it is Friday, July 19th, 2024, the first day of the rest of our lives. And I'm sure it's going to be our best one yet because we have Taariq from Volume rejoining us. Taariq, how are you doing?
Doing great, doing great. Good to be back. Yay! I
It's
hear the
been
crowd cheering.
you had yeah, big expectations for this one. Yeah, you're in Spain right now, right?
Yes, I am in glorious Hispania at this
Is
moment in
this
time. So,
for
hmm
fun or like another conference? You're at ECC, I presume.
I was at ECC in Brussels very briefly, doing like every other startup, chasing investors to, tell them, please, I'm an L1. I swear to God, I'm a new L1. So, yeah, did a little bit of Brussels, which was very nice. Brussels is a beautiful, beautiful place, and now in Spain with FAM and. Trying to get ready for new launches. We have a lot of team members here in Europe for Volume, as well as the Paloma protocol. So we are working on times, and we have some new stuff coming up that we're going to be launching. And maybe I might bring the alpha to this show. Maybe that's
Oh,
what I do.
nice.
I mean,
Yeah, you're super
you know,
busy today. You got the
yeah,
us for the European hours, and then later you're
that's
going to be
right.
on with the llamas.
That's right. Later, I'm going to be on for the llamas. I know, right? I was like, where is this event? I'm like, how many? That's why I thought this show was the llama show. And I'm like, this show is not the llama show. Oh my God, there's another. Yeah, I'm on with the llamas. And we have new product releases coming out for Volume and Paloma chain. Actually, new releases coming out today. So that is also exciting. Yeah.
And is there any alpha? You said you can give us some alpha. What's the like? What are these product releases?
Oh man, so you want the alpha now or not later? Usually, I give the alpha at the end when everybody's left. um, yeah, no, we are. So we're going to be the first Cosmos chain based chain that is going to essentially be paying stakeholders relay fees from all the transactions happening on the AMMs that we support, like Curve. So if you are a Paloma grain token holder, we're merging a new code that will allow you to essentially take advantage of our nodes. So we're launching new nodes that are also going to be sort of relay delegator nodes. And that means that you get to support the Curve ecosystem with automated AMMs. We're going to talk about prediction markets on CRV and all this cool stuff. And a piece of the gas fees goes towards those stakers. So you don't even have to be a sophisticated validator. You just have to download our node software and run it, and you get paid and earn cash
and
while Paloma and Cosmos continues to build on Curve.
and on grain. You have to
Yes,
have
so you earn
grain.
grains. Yes, exactly.
You
Yep,
earn
yep, yep.
grain, so you don't
You
need
earn
grain to
grains.
run a node.
You don't even need grain to run a node. The Paloma Foundation will provide all the grain you need for your gas to run your node, and all you have to do is show up and say, "Hey, I want to be part of the flock." So we're gonna invite more people to join the flock with a much less complicated security validator, is what we call it, for the Paloma network.
Okay, so this sounds too good to be true. Is it possible for me to run this? I have a machine like an Intel NUC
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is running an Ethereum node. Can I run
yeah,
my
yeah.
Paloma node on the same machine?
Absolutely. So this node does not validate state. What it does is it delegates stake and actively redelegate stake to the validator set. So what we need is what Paloma needs are really stakeholders that are constantly monitoring the stake weights of the validators and adjusting their stake according to the validators that are new, the ones that need a lot of more weight, and the ones that are essentially have the most uptime. That's very hard to do as an individual, right? You have to keep looking at the network, you have to check, or you write your own scripts. So now we're going to make it a node. So you can run this on top of your Ethereum node and just be like, dude, I'm just going to run this. It's not going to do much. What it does is just continues to check the network and then redelegate stake wherever it needs to be. So if there's a validator going down, it will undelegate and redelegate if a validator is misbehaving, and all that's automatic. Like all you got to do is just sit back and be like, count your grain feed, as the as the grains come
Okay.
in, you get to
Now,
count.
where does this yield come from? Is it me?
No, does it? Well, if you're so right now, we have spent the last year really building on Curve Paloma bots, and the
Hmm.
Paloma bots are automated software executions that are managed by the Paloma chain. So running those bots costs gas, and so the way it works is the validators on Paloma, for example, if you wanted to do, what? Here's a great one. We could talk about the prediction market later, but one good one right now is, if you wanted to do limit orders on convex, it's very hard. Like you can go to CowSwap, but but you'll pay a fee. If you didn't want to pay a fee and you wanted to go for free, you could come to Paloma, and Paloma can give you limit orders on convex tokens. The beauty of it is though that you pay gas, and so you're going to pay gas on Ethereum or you pay gas on Arbitrum, and validators essentially charge a percentage of that gas. So the way it works is that that validator fee, a piece of it goes to the stakeholders. And so validators on Paloma get to charge that fee. There's a competitive fee market. And so based on the validator of the lowest cost, they get the relay message. And once they relay the message, they get paid for it. And then what happens is piece of that gas goes to the nodes like yourself, if you're a node holder in we call it a light node. But if you hold a light node and you're running it, you will get essentially a piece of that revenue. So the more apps we launch from Paloma, and not just us as we make Paloma and bring Paloma to a broader audience, grain holders who are staking will get some of that fee or get an increasing share of that fee. So that yield will continue to increase as more of these automated execution type transactions get deployed. And Curve has just been a beautiful place for us to incubate, build new apps, build apps. And we're launching more. This week, we're going to be launching Uniswap V3 limit orders on Arbitrum. And we have a big client who's coming in with possibly quite a lot of volume as we launch this feature. And then if you're holding grains and you're using a light node, you will essentially get paid every time a relay runs. So yeah.
So it sounds like free money. So like,
Well, it's security. So there's a payment, right? So if you're running a light node, essentially you get grains, but if you don't delegate those grains at stake, you don't get rewarded. If you just take the grains and sell them, then you're out of the network. But if you have grains and just hold them, then you're in the network, but you're not securing it. So by delegating your grain stake, those rewards come to those people who delegate. So it's just like in Curve. If you lock up your V curve, you get more of the fees. We're doing the same. If you lock up your grains, you get the fees. But unlike V curve, where the only revenue in V curve you can get is on the curve AMM, if you lock up your grains, you will get revenue from the Uniswap AMM, the Curve AMM, the Aerodrome AMM, the Velo AMM. I can keep going, the Pancake Swap AMM. You're just going to be like, give me all the fee revenue. And and for us, it's a small amount, but across multiple AMMs, DEXs, even lending, we use Llama Lend. If for our automated liquidation protection feature, all that is handled by Paloma Validator Set. If you're staking grain, you will get a percentage of the fees that the validators charge for that service.
no, that's pretty cool. I'm such a big fan of those like passive incremental cash flows. So
Passive increment, exactly. Oh man, I love how you. Ooh, hold on a second. That's the PICF. Pick F. That's Curve Cap's acronym of the day. The Pick F. Do you have some Pick F? I mean, because if you don't have Pick F, you're just not making it happen. And so what we want to do is we want to get in the Pick F party, and we want people to feel like Pick F is a great place to be. You just passive, incremental cash flow, and doesn't require you to take on any capital risk, right? Not requiring you to take leverage. All requiring you to say, hey, I am going to take my already owned grains and just secure the network. I'm going to put it up stake. And the more people who stake, then the inflation rate goes down. So right now the inflation rate on Paloma is 7%. Once more people start staking, the inflation rate will fall down to 3%. So now you get a deflationary impact from simply saying, give me some more of that pick F, baby. I want pick F in the morning, pick F in the evening, pick F in the nighttime. Sorry, that's a good song.
well, you're usually so good at jumping on the trends, but I feel like passive incremental cash flow pickup isn't really the trend right now, right? Like the
It's
trend
not the
is
trend
meme
right now.
coins that
That's
do
right.
nothing.
That's right.
Like, cash flow is like a dirty word, right? No one wants slow and
Yes, no
steady
one
when you
wants
can
to
buy
hear that
lottery tickets.
stuff. That's nasty, nasty. PICF is nasty. Yeah, that's right. Dirty, dirty, dirty. What we want to hear
Um,
is yield. We want to talk about some yield. Mm,
well, you're really good though at timing these things. Like I was going to suggest that
right.
your product should be you take whatever idea you have, time lock it for 6 months to a year, and then in 1 year, like releases or like purchases that, right?
I know. I know, right? Oh, dude. Again, New Year's Eve, I told you guys, dude, L2s, that's the money. The money's in L2s. And how many L2s have we had in the last 6 months, dude? Like, just, it has been
They're huge
L2
now.
fever.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And this was before Blast launched. I was talking to you guys before Blast launched, and
Wow.
Blast launched. And then, there you go. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, it's wild. So
Do you think
I'm
it's
I'm coming
played
with
out?
more.
Do you think
Huh?
L2s are played out?
Absolutely not.
No?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
If anything, it's funny. It's so funny. I have thoughts about this. I thought Bitcoin was played out in 2011. So boy, was I wrong. I'm always wrong. No, I thought Ethereum was played out in 2016. No, I don't think L2s are played out. What has happened is everybody who's been watching a successful blast launch has realized that essentially every L2 is essentially has to use some new hook to bootstrap liquidity, right? And that's all you're doing. Curve needs to launch an L2. Mitch will, I don't know where you are and where you're listening, it's time to goddamn launch the Curve L2. Stop this bullshit. Let's launch the L2. Let's put a few billion liquidity in there. Start, it is about bootstrapping liquidity. It is still a liquidity game. And here's the thing: all the L2s that have been collecting liquidity, the points game has been sort of played out, right? Everybody's gotten betrayed, by the points. So there are new L2s that are going to come up with new innovative ways of saying, hey, we don't have points, we got picas. And here's you're going to get some picas if you give us, or some PICF if you give us your liquidity. There are, the design space is still large. And even we're working on our own L2. And we're very excited to come out with it. We think there's going to be a lot of L2 opportunities. I know that somebody on Twitter, I think ngmi.eth, not going to make it, OXN and NGMI, he said, there's not enough market for all these L2s. They won't survive. And I said, bro, that's what we said in 2011 when, Litecoin and every other shitcoin, Bitcoin fork was alive. It's the same thing we said in 2017 when every ETH fork was alive. But you know what? People are still going to do it, and there's going to be money there. So you know what? Get on the bandwagon. Look for the L2s that are really dragging in lots of liquidity. That's your signal. Get in, make profits, yield farm, and then yeet out as soon as you got
So
token.
I've not really followed it too closely. Maybe you've like I don't like pay super close attention to prices like most people in the space. Like if people
Of
had
course not.
invested in a basket as of New Year's of like
Mhm.
just buying all the L2 tokens, they'd probably be down, right?
Well, yeah, because remember, you don't invest in the tokens. What you want to do, yeah, you never invest in a token like that. No, 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 no. That's boomer talk. Okay, we're not boomers. All right, we're millennials. Don't mind we got gray hair. We're millennials. We are not
That's
boomers. Okay,
to Gen
Jesus,
Z. It all
man.
looks the same, right?
No,
Like
I'm sorry. I'm Gen Alpha too. I don't know about you, but I'm Gen Alpha. I don't know about no Gen Z shit. You never invest in a token. What you do is you yield farm for rewards. That is the business. And the job is to yield farm where there is a massive flow of liquidity. Because if there's a massive flow of liquidity, then that's your risk, right? You're looking at a VC. That's your risk. That's your risk mark. That's your risk indicator. And then, of course, the question is how soon. And as soon as they TGE, you yeet, right? You want to get out. That's what the young kids say to tell me. They're like, Taariq, you gotta say yeet. I'm like, okay, is that yeet? They're like, not yeet, yeet. You gotta yeet your tokens. You gotta sell. You don't stake. You don't invest. You get out. Now you can always give it to somebody to trade, or if you want to play trading. But yield farming is straight up very simple formula. You stake liquidity, get tokens, and yeet. And I think if you were doing that strategy at the beginning of this year, you may have some losses in some L2s that blew up, but I think for the big ones like Blast, you would have done okay. But then if you were trying to play Blast games And if you took your eye off the game, like in Blast, you may just stake but not get enough rewards. So I tell people never look for legacy. Never, great to have Melades, great to be, retardios, but you always want to be very, very careful and understanding of what is the yield rules, how do I max, and then how do I eat.
Okay. Okay. That's helpful. That's helpful. Okay. So you're always like 6 months ahead of these trends. Let's get to
Yeah.
prediction markets because
Yes.
like prediction
Yes. Oh my
markets
God.
are hot right
Yes.
now, right?
Oh
Like
Jesus.
it's
The
crazy election cycle. Like I'm checking
ridic.
Polymarket every day, just to get a
Yes.
sense of where things are at.
Yes.
But you
Yes.
were pushing prediction markets back when there wasn't an election, right?
Oh, dude, I mean, I've been pushing prediction markets since Counterparty. I mean,
Okay.
I'm not a boomer, bro. I'm Gen Alpha, okay? Just because I know about this shit doesn't mean I was there at the time. I just, my dad tells me shit, you know. um, yeah, no, been keeping an eye on Polymarket for some time. Did a deep dive into Polymarket in the last month. Why? Because I think we're in a bear market, and now that the eigenlayer points meta is now over, everybody who's been betrayed, Taariq, I yield from eigenlayer, but then I got screwed. I know, bro, it happens. Now that all that is gone, people like looking to, people are becoming disillusioned, nihilistic, depressed. A lot of that at ECC Brussels, a lot of negatives, vibe, a lot of, low float, low FDV talk, and people are looking elsewhere. They're looking at the successes, right? Everybody's looking at, Mark Zeller boasting he has 60 million in the treasury pot for Aave. Everybody's looking at Lido boasting them, cranking your revenue. Everybody's looking at, Polymarket. Look at that, right? Who is making money? I was in a discussion yesterday with some cross-chain folks, and I said, cross-chain people need to stop talking about the cross-chain, and they don't start talking about how can you gamble across multiple chains. That's what you want. How can I do a prediction market on multiple chains at the same time? That's interesting. Nobody gives a shit about, trying to do cross-chain, transfers. What you want to know about is how can I do cross-chain bets? Polymarket has done a great job just creating something which is essentially a Web2 app. Like I tell people, this is the age of Web2. And so
So
here's my tip. It's not about prediction markets, it's about Web2. The new thing everybody's going to be talking about is what in Web2 needs Web3. What in
So before we
Web2 needs
yeah, before we
Web3.
get into this though, why do people care about cross-chain bets? Like, why wouldn't they like
Nobody does. See,
Polymarket
this is the thing. Nobody
abstracts it,
does.
right? Like,
Yes, that's right. Right. But yes, but that's right. Nobody cares about cross-chain bets. No one. No one is asking for it. What people want to do is they want to make a bet wherever they are. I want to bet wherever I am. Right. I want my bet to live and my AMM on my bet to live wherever I am. Polymarket gives you that. You don't need to be anywhere. You could be anywhere in the world and make a bet on Polymarket. And so Polymarket is telling us that, Web2 apps don't need crypto. They don't. But if you are in Web3, you need a Web2 app. And if you can build a Polymarket on top of a Curve L2, that would be awesome. Imagine if there was a Polymarket on top of Curve L2. What would that look like?
shoot, I could only guess. Like, you'd probably need some sort of like separate vaults or pools for each market.
You
Uh,
just need an AMM, my brother. You just need an AMM. Because when you look at Polymarket, like when you uncover what Polymarket is, it's just a bunch of order books. It's just a bunch of order books. You got to bet. You got to go green and go red. And here's the orders. How many orders on green and red, and what were their bids? It's an order book. And what do we do really well on L3s? On sorry L3s. What do we do well in Web3? We create AMMs and order books, right? So can you create an AMM order book type prediction market on Ethereum? Can you create one on Arbitrum? Can you create one on a Curve L2? This is going to be a space where people, I think, are going to start experimenting with these questions, because now here's where you have a Web2 app that really needs to come to Web3. It doesn't need Web3, but if it comes to Web3, then you will attract investor capital. You will attract liquidity because now you can yield farm, right? Say, hey, if you come to our prediction market, we'll give you points for every bet you make. Or if you add liquidity to prediction market, we'll give you points. And then when the prediction closes, your points will convert into some piece of the liquidity, right?
Hmm.
Or the token that is underlying the entire protocol. That design space is massive. It is massive, and it's not meme coin, right? So it's no more meme coin nihilism. It's not, yet another same yield farm L2 nihilism. It is not, altcoin shitter nihilism. It's here's a Web2 thing that can use Web3 technology that it doesn't need, but that Web3ers want to see or need and can bring liquidity to for a new narrative. So I love prediction markets. We did one ourselves. We were so inspired. We created a small prediction market bot, right? So here's where we come
Is
in.
the
We want to do
curve
prediction
one?
market bots. Yeah,
Is the
that's what
curve
we did. So we said,
price spot? Yeah.
doesn't it suck? Like it's so manual. Like if you go to Polymarket, right? You gotta fucking stay on that shit, right? Boy, you don't want to stay on that shit. You want to be like, dude, if the winds are changing, Trump gets nearly assassinated, you want to be able to move into the bet or move up into the next bet. You want signals to start moving your bets. That's where Paloma Chain is like, shit, dude, we can automate and help people, lever up, lever down, change their bets, go to town. And I think
You're
in
doing
our view, there's a lot
leverage prediction markets?
leverage. Oh, talking my language. See, now you're talking like a Gen Alpha. This is what I like. See, Gary,
Hold on, let's
now
get
you're
this set
talking
up
like
and
Gen A.
streaming to TikTok,
Think
right?
about it. That's right. Can we have leveraged prediction markets? Yes. Yes, you can. And will that encourage degenerates and people living on the edge to come and play? Yes, it will. Is that a new narrative? Yes, it is. And can it encourage people outside of crypto to come in? Yes, it can. Right. This is the beauty of looking at Web two, and prediction markets in the fringe of betting versus opinion expression or surveying. Right. It's like that little gray area. I think it's
Well,
amazing, and
well,
I
prediction
know that
markets.
there are.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, so prediction
it's
markets
like
make sense to me as a narrative, right? Because like
yes,
there's always been in every election like kind of like a prediction market, and usually they
yes,
struggle because they need like a huge amount of like liquidity basically to
right.
be remotely accurate, right? Like you see these
Hmm.
prediction markets like in past elections where there's $500 and like someone's like, "Shoot, I'll just bet on my candidate because we have a marketing budget. We'll spend $1,000 and spike the market." So you need a ton of liquidity for the markets to actually like make any sense. And before they'd always just keep getting shut down, right? Like, which is where the Web
Correct. It was
three
illegal.
like.
That's right. That's right. It was illegal. That's right.
But the challenge would still be in the Oracle mechanism, right? Like you remember, was it
Correct.
Shapeshift was the
Correct.
like
Yes.
past boomer generation attempt at prediction
That's right.
markets, and they had like this hugely convoluted like resolution mechanism, and I think Polymarket
Yes.
struggles with it too, right? Like the
Yes,
resolution.
everybody. No, it is native. We found that out in running our own CRV prediction market. For example, people. So first of all, we launched this thing as like, will anybody come? And we put it in the curve community, and people started showing up, being making bets, and
Oh,
we
nice.
were like, shit, dude. Oh yeah, it was wild. Like we put $500, which is nothing, and then people started saying, hey, dude, how do I know that the result is official? Because, and I was just like, oh wow, that's like this is real. And we learned that, for example, we're using CoinGecko as our API. As they were like off-chain API, and they were like,
Mhm.
well, how do you trust CoinGecko not to manipulate the markets? And so, yeah, there's a lot of those questions. It's very hard. It's not. There is no simple answer, and I'm sure Polymarket has policies in place, but I think they're the biggest, but it's not something that
Well,
it, you
I
know.
I just bring it up because like every past prediction market gets shut down. If
Yes,
Polymarket
yes,
has like a team of people located in Cayman Islands, like settling these
yes,
things
yes,
manually, they go to
yes,
prison, and
yes,
Polymarket like ceases to function, right? Like so, it actually
yes,
doesn't have
exactly.
any particular decentralization built into it.
Correct. It's not. It's a centralized Web two. This is a
Mhm.
perfect disrupted. This is a perfect opportunity for a Web three app to disrupt this. And by the way, it's not just Polymarket. Let me tell you about this other one that I found out recently that I really like, that we were introduced to. Let me see if I bring them up. And they're running on a Cosmos chain. They did a very very good job of doing it. Let me see. I can't find them right now. I'll keep looking and I'll bring them up. But there are others that are essentially doing a very, very good job of saying, hey, let's now take this onto a chain and have a validator set and then have the validator set execute the trades so that people can make bets. But then the validators take on the risk of, the regulatory risk exposure that previously a poly market would be subject to.
Oh, is
I
this why
don't have the
Paloma validators? Is this why you're decentralizing the validator set to me? So
correct.
I assume the legal. Okay, so that makes sense. I'm going
Yes.
to prison.
Yeah. Well, hold on. No, you're a delegating node. You're not a validator. So if you're,
Okay, okay.
if any of right, it's like it's really, different. But these are, for us, these are important questions, and it is our view that you will see. I think the Cosmos protocol lends itself very nicely to folks who want to pursue prediction market in Web3 without having to worry about with Web3 with a way to decentralize and distribute the validator risk. And so definitely, I say yes. It is very, very compelling to do it on Cosmos chain, and I think there's a lot of opportunity for prediction market in here. Yeah.
Okay. So looking at this kind of Web 2 narrative, which I like, by the way, I like this it's it's like all your things are like easy to sell to VCs, right? Like so
Right.
Web
Oh yeah. Oh man, dude. Just tell your VC you're Web two and come thank me in the morning. Tell your VC here's two Web two pills. Taariq prescribe
well,
them. Call me in the morning.
well it should be like Web 2.718 or something.
Right. That's right.
Like try and like get that like natural logarithm E 2.7 because that was what you're blending Web 2, Web 3.
That's right.
But okay, so that aside, like what are the other like big Web 2 like successes, right? Like I'd be
Oh, I
thinking
have
maybe
more.
social
I
media.
have more. Are you
Go ahead.
ready? I have more. I have more. Another nice Web 2.0 success that we've been looking at, that we've been like, this is again interesting, is the question, like we looked at pump.fun, right? So
Mhm.
everybody knows pump.fun. Now, why is pump.fun successful? And keep in mind, pump. When I say successful, pump.fun without a token is pumping about $2 million to $3 million in revenue a month. Why is pump.fun successful?
Tell me. I
No,
because
it's
it's
very
like
simple. It
memes.
just it's a very low cost way to speculate on anything. You just it's a speculator's love dream, right? You just speculate, and it's very cheap. And anybody on the planet, can come up with any stupid idea for a token and just launch it on pump.fun, and see what happens, right? Like you can literally say, "Hey, I have a new meme, and I want to see if people will get excited about it. And I want to test it out. I want to do it anonymously." So you could just put I saw a dog with ass the other day. It made me laugh. I was like, "This dog with ass." That's like this dog. But here's the bottom line: who knows who created that thing? That thing is massively successful. Most of the liquidity in Pop.Fun, if you spend a day on it, is 20 grand, 30 grand. Not rarely do things pass the $69,000 threshold before they burn the liquidity and take their fees. But Pump.Fun is making money on these small liquidity things. So it has reduced the barrier to stupid coin launches, just stupid. Why is this good? This is another Web 2 thing. It's a Web 2 thing. It has, forget crypto. It's just like, hey, you need to create a token and you need to get a token trading. That's it. We Pump.Fun does not need a token or a protocol to do this. We have outsourced the protocol to Solana and we have no token. It's essentially a Web 2.0 app. And I love it. I mean, it makes my head hurt. But now imagine if you did pump.fun for a curated list. Say, the way we're looking at it, we're looking at pump.fun for AI. What if you did a pump.fun for AI models? Where now somebody could say, hey, for every AI model, I'm just going to create a token
Pumped up
and let
mutual
people bid
fund.
on it. Anything you could do it for whatever in Web 2 space. You could say, I want to create one for my cars, or anybody's, there's a secondary car market and you want to create a token for your car, right? Because this is my car, it's a Ferrari, blah blah blah. It's stupid. Most of the things will never reach billion-dollar status, but what it does, it creates activity. And what you want is the activity then creating fees, and that fee revenue essentially generating profits for your protocol or for your team. Palm.fun is an extreme. You could say Palm.fun is the fringe right of the GOP. It needs somebody to come in a little more center and say, hey, here's a version of this that is a little more sane, curated, a little no dogs with ass, you know, but something that can make it go boom. And you can launch that today. Great another Web 2.0 concept. Like, you're looking at how they make money, and you realize you don't need to speculate on a pumped on fund token to be a successful pumped up fund. You don't have to have a speculative token. All you need is a Web 2.0 app. And that's all Pump Fun is. It's a Web 2.0 app that just uses
Mhm.
Solana, and that's it. Great model. We love it. So we're looking at it for AI. We think it's again right for AI models. If anybody listens on this podcast and steals our idea, I'm coming after you to buy your token. Yield farm. But there's many ways of thinking. How can I just use a Web 2.0 interface and have people interact quickly? Another one was Solana Blinks. I don't know if you've taken a look at Solana Blinks and Solana Actions.
No, but
Okay,
I
all
saw
right.
you posted about it, so I figure in
Yeah,
6 months I should check
Web
it out.
2.0. Dude, it's Solana saying we believe it's the only thing they didn't plaster, that totally didn't plaster across the announcement, was this is our Web 2.0 strategy. It is purely only Web 2.0. It is nothing else. This is Web 2.0 pureness. It's a protocol saying, fuck it, we're going Web 2.0 fully. We're going all in. Why? Because what is Solana Actions? Oh, you've stripped out two commands from Solana.js. Think Ethereum.js. Query a transaction and sign. That's it. You just strip those two things out. And then you put them in Next.js, which is Web 2.0 JavaScript. And then you tell any dev you want to run it, you run it. So if you're a dev, you can build a Solana action into your website so people can sign transactions. So you can create a pump.fun on your blog post or on your blog, and it will just keep sending stuff to Solana. Now, people still need a wallet. They still need all these other things, but you've just made it really easy for devs in Web 2 to start throwing stuff up. And so it's a genius move by Solana. It screams Web 2.0, but they don't say it. And so if you're not looking at what they're doing, and we spent an entire day looking into we went all deep into the Solana Blinks SDK library, and it is nothing but 2, 3 commands: a QR code, uh, sign a transaction, and query a transaction. You don't
Mhm.
need Solana.js. You just need a Blink. And so again, genius. And I think it's saying, hey, if you don't like me, how many people like black guys opining on crypto? I don't get you. I ain't no Arthur, right? Big up to Arthur and Maelstrom. I ain't no Arthur. But if you believe in the Solana token and the Solana token price reflective of some smart people knowing what they're doing, then you're going to look at Solana Actions and Solana Blinks and said, Taariq was right. This is another Web 2.0 stab to get Web 2.0 people outside of crypto to start making crypto more accessible and more available. So, don't believe me. Just check out what Solana is doing, what Solana Blinks. So we have no shame. Thank you, Toli. Toli's an investor in our company. We're going to steal it. We're going to call it Paloma Links, Plinks, so you can get Blinks and then Plinks. And then what we're going to do is we're going to incentivize Plinks. Every time a Plinks gets used, you get grains. Every time a
Alright.
Plinks makes a call, you get grains. And so Solana is not doing that because all the VCs hold their token, so we don't have that problem. But very, very exciting space that I think web devs should be looking at. How do we get more Web 2? So that's another example of a successful Web 2 thing that I think, and they're growing. They have lots of people. If you follow Toli's Twitter, they're always announcing a new Blink, being created, new devs. They even have a startup fund where you can ask them for money to sponsor your Blink creation. They will fund you because it's Web 2. It's Web 2.
So, just briefly, like, do you? So I was talking with a pretty smart person who's like pretty heavily in the Ethereum dev community, and he was lamenting that like Solana tech is outstripping Ethereum tech. Do you agree with
Not at
this?
all. Not
No.
at all. Not at all. No, no, no. No, 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 no. Hell no. Solana tech is Solana tech. Ethereum tech is Ethereum tech. It is not, I take Toli's view. They all work well together. They have different things to offer. What Ethereum should be worried about and moaning is that Solana is going boldly to Web 2 and just unabashedly saying, how do we get people that are outside? Right now, most of the Ethereum EIPs are still very inward looking. How do we make, chain abstraction or account abstraction? That's not the problem. Like I say abstraction is masturbation. Here I said it. Chain abstraction is masturbation because there are lower hanging fruits that people need just to onboard people, which is, hey, just make it really easy, right? And somebody will say, well, Taariq, chain abstraction, EIP 4337, all these things make it really easy. I agree. I don't disagree, but I don't see Ethereum reaching out to Web 2 the way Solana is reaching out to Web 2. And I think Ethereum technology is so much more widely distributed that it should be a no-brainer. There should be a whole the Ethereum Foundation should have a section called Web 2.0 stuff. And maybe they do. And maybe I'm blind, but you just don't see the marketing the way Solana is doing that marketing. And I think they're just different tech. But I think they're compatible, they're complementary. I think the winner is not going to be who has the better state, storage, who has the faster block time. I think it'll come down to who still makes it easier for any dev to just start onboarding users today.
All right.
And I
Then
think that's the problem.
since you've already gone ahead and made this non-family friendly, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Web 2.0 is like, and every like major technologies like primary, like earliest adopters is PRON, right? Like,
Right, right,
are
right,
you going to
right,
do
right.
like, like why not do a big outreach to the prawn industry?
Because we have. So there's a funny
Okay,
story where I was interviewing with Brian Armstrong for a job at at,
Coinbase, yeah, yeah.
at Coinbase way back in 2013. I'm not a boomer, okay? I'm an alpha. I just graduated college,
Laws
and
against child labor, right?
and he said to me, where would you, I did all my research. He said, where would you, like, if you were to do crypto, where would you go today? And I was like, gay porn, bro. Gay porn payments is the shit. And he walked out of that meeting. He just like put his coffee down and left. I was just like, I was like, how do you know this? I'm like, I did my research. Um, not
I
needed.
don't.
Not needed. I think what I'm learning is that we don't need to judge the industry that the tool is used for. What we need is to see that the tool just gets used. And so I think we don't need to go to and by the way, I have done lots of research in the porn industry and crypto. I've done a lot of research, both gay and straight porn. And they have solution providers. I've done research into the medical cannabis. Remember, I did Serica, and
Oh
Serica
yeah.
was
Oh
medical
yeah.
weed payments on chain with Bitcoin. I've done it all. I've gone to every sin industry. And what I've realized is that the sin industries don't need us because they have solutions. What people want in all these industries is things that make it just easy to interact with Web3, that make it brainless. And I will say that if you look at OnlyFans, which is everybody, OnlyFans cake and the girls, get crypto, I mean, OnlyFans, what is they want video and they need video, they need great video, and they need great publish and distribution.
Well, that
No
one actually
protocols
strikes
have.
me as like a obvious like use case, the OnlyFans. And I haven't done as much research into it, but payment providers like would seem to be like a pretty hefty concern, right? Like the
Not,
ability to
no, there is
custody. No?
always there is always a Web 2 payment provider that will step in anytime one of these sin industries loses. There's always somebody who will step in, whether they be Bulgarian, whether they be American. I have seen them all. Wherever they are, there's always going to be somebody. But here's the problem: what if you wanted your content distributed globally, but without the worry that, for example, some US-based state would say, "Oh yeah, we ban this content. This content can't flow over our state without some sort of licensing." Who's going to provide you a solution? Well, that sounds like a decentralized storage problem, right? If you can now get your content distributed where, hey, you're not running it, it's a network being run by other people. Maybe this might be a way to say, hey, now your content can go anywhere. I think the problems that
Perhaps.
all these industries.
I don't know though. Like an industry that routinely geofences the United States doesn't seem like it has the best bona fides on this.
I know, and you're right. And again, however, again, it's weird. I, I think again, I think the way Web3 should be always looking at it is how do we allow Web2 people to keep creating content, to keep doing what they do. And I don't think payments, although Web3's product market fit is in payments and exchange, I still think there's ways to go up the stack and say, before you get to payments, let's help you create content. Let's help you launch stuff. And then you use the Web3 stack as a way to facilitate payments,
Yeah.
or you use the Web3 stack as a way to facilitate trading. Again, I always come back to pump.fun, right? Like any OnlyFans publisher can create their token in pump.fun. And why aren't more doing it? I think it's because they don't know. Like, whoa, I can create an OnlyFans token for my yes, and you should, once you do that, you create your OnlyFans token, you put it on your website, and then people start trading, but it's not your token. You remember, you don't own the liquidity, so you're not offering
Yeah.
a non-registered security, right?
Yeah.
So
No, I
this
mean
is why I'm
that one
saying,
does seem like a
dude,
strong use case to me, though. Like all
it's
the like
easy.
wannabe
Dude,
OnlyFans,
oh,
stars.
totally, totally.
Honestly,
But
like
why
so
isn't
all the Web 2 use cases you bring up where there's like a built-in, like pretty clear, like, ability to like mix in some sort of like profit ecosystem, like make a ton of
yes,
sense. Like Twitch streamers would
yes,
be a natural
perfect,
thing.
absolutely, great idea. Like if every Twitch stream would just create a token, and then while people are watching the stream, they get to bid up the token and play with it.
Mhm.
And then suddenly
Yeah,
at the
and
end
you
of the
just
stream,
copy the Twitch interface, but you have like charts, overlays that you build in, plug into it.
dude.
Like
And
there's a
that's what
lot.
people do while they're idle, right? Because remember, they're listening to you, but hey, here's what they're doing. They're trading and they're like, dude, the Twitch token is skyrocketing. Well, why isn't Pump.Fun doing it? Because they don't care. Pump.Fun is like, we did this thing. So that's what I'm saying, that there's somebody's going to create Pump.Fun for Twitch, or Pump.Fun for YouTube videos, like these things where they're like, again, continuing to merge into Web 2. But the Web 3 is so easy. It's so brainless. It's fun.
Yeah.
And people
Well,
just do it for shits and giggles.
a shout out to the 269 people watching us on X, even though
No
we don't have a
way.
token embedded in this stream. But
No way.
we
Wait,
did.
dude, we need to do a token for the stream. Oh my god, dude. Okay,
I certainly.
next time we do this stream, we're gonna have a token that we're gonna launch at the beginning of the stream, and then we're gonna see people bid on it as the stream continues. And then we're gonna have an OnlyFans star come in, and she endorsed the stream, and then the token is just gonna go through the roof.
That's true. You have those like minute by minute breakdowns and write it. Yeah.
And remember,
Actually,
that's all Web 2.
well, you know what the most anodyne use case is? You've gone through YC maybe a couple of times at this point. Like that pretty much like every YC startup is just taking one section of Craigslist and trying to build an entire startup around it by basically posting on Craigslist until they
Over and over again. Yeah, no, and that's how
but
YC
Craigslist
companies make money. They post to each other. So YC
but
companies buy from each other. Anyway,
but
sorry.
like no, I was just thinking like if I think of like these like Web 2 like killer use cases that have like an embedded like payments aspect to it, like Craigslist
Yes.
would seem like the ultimate Web 2 app to recreate, right? Like because you could have like some sort of like stable coin infrastructure on the site where the crypto aspect of it's like nearly invisible to people. They're just like selling their used CDs for a couple of bucks or whatever. And don't worry, I'm not a boomer. I don't know what a CD is. I just heard a
I was just gonna say, what's that? Is that two letters next to each other? A, B, C, and D? Like who does that?
um but like yeah, like building out like a like just kind of like basic classified type site would actually seem to be like the most killer use case that would get to grandparents and kids alike, right? Like it's not only fans, it's like just like a good solid Web 2 use case. Or
It
like
is.
am I thinking of this the wrong way?
But yeah, you're still thinking like a boomer. You're still thinking payments. I want you to stop thinking payments and start thinking publishing. So here's another example. We just launched. I'll give you our example. What we're working on again in the AI space. Our tailored AI, which is tailoredai.me. We just started. We just launched. We didn't launch anything. So if you go in it, you can play with it. But we're telling
Let's
people
check
don't
it out.
play with it because it's still fresh.
Tailored AI
Tailoredai.me.
dot me.
.me. Yeah.
All right,
Um,
let's bring this up for everyone. Right here?
yeah.
All right, what am I
Here's
looking at?
another Web 2. It's an AI that pays you tokens. The AI works for you and pays you tokens. It's a stupid concept. Anytime you use an AI like Chat GPT, you should get some tokens. Anytime you use an AI like Llama, you should get tokens. Anytime you use an AI like Gemini, you should get tokens. Why is Chat GPT not giving you tokens for making their AI smarter? Why is
Well, Sam
Gemini not
Altman.
giving you tokens for using your data? Why is Facebook not giving you tokens for their AI training on your data? Isn't that unfair? Isn't that just mean? That's some bullshit. Okay? That's some real bullshit. You and your data is being used to train AI models. You need to get paid. Okay? You want to get paid so you can get right. So you want to get paid. How do you do this? Well, you want to use an AI that pays you, right? And that is tailored. So tailored is, when you use it, it'll pay you every time you use it. And right now, we're working on tailored AI for Twitter, where every time you tweet, we give you, tailored AI will create tweets for you. Every time you tweet, you get paid tokens. Those tokens may not go up in value, but what you're saying is I give permission. If I'm going to give permission to get training data, I want to get something back. And what happens is we're going to create an economy around those tokens, right? Because it's more training, and more training means you need to give more data. So really, tailored AI is again a privacy trade. How can I get people to give us more of their privacy data, which is very sensitive in AI, and give them a reward? It's a Web 2.0 concept that uses a Web 3 hook. The Web 3 token compensates for privacy. So again, we got to think, how do we bring crypto in a place to give people the ability to do more of a thing? And that's what tailored AI does mean. It says, listen, hey man, everybody's training on your data. You have no privacy, but at least we'll give you a token. And if that token
So,
trades, who knows? It might be worth way more than your data.
so I like it. I just think that calling it Web 2 is just like confusing the narrative a bit, right? Like if you're pitching to VCs, they've already heard Web 2. That's the thing of the past. Web
But
3 is the
here's the
thing of the
thing,
future.
no VC wants to hear Web 3. But when we tell a VC we're paying for the data,
Right. No,
then
I
they're
get
like,
that.
how do you?
I'm just saying for your pitch, I really think you should consider Web 2.718. Like it's
Get
just
the
nerdy
versions
enough.
right.
It's just nerdy enough that like it will appeal to like the VCs who like math. It's not super
Touche.
technical. Like
Touche.
you get that it's like between Web 2 and Web 3. So it's like,
Touche.
and
Touche.
then you can that's just the only pitch suggestion I give. Call it Web
I love it.
2.718.
I love it. 2.718. I got, to the three decimal places.
Yeah,
But,
yeah, yeah.
you
Like
know,
maybe they've memorized it further, but
all right. Well, dude, I gave all the alpha I could today. I
this is
hope you
great
invite me
stuff,
again.
man.
Maybe I should manage
No,
some
this
more alpha.
yeah, come back and like you say, we'll do it through some sort of platform like that you've built out at this
Dude,
point. Where we
absolutely. Yeah. We'll let
but
people trade tokens. Yeah. On
yeah.
while we're doing the chat.
I know you got to bounce real quick. I just wanted to ask a quick question, which is, to tie this back to the focus of like my live streams and all that, which is curve stuff. Like you were
Yes.
there in San Francisco with Mitch Egorov before he went
Yes.
on this whole journey. Like, could you
Yes.
tell us like more from those days of like who was the Mitch Egorov that you knew then, and compare and contrast with the Mitch Egorov of today?
It's the same guy. It's the same guy. He is one of the smartest people on the planet. So we're very privileged to be. But I'll tell you one story. We were in Palo Alto at a Bitcoin meetup in 2014, and he and McLean Wilkinson were sitting down. And of course, I'm like, I think I was hosting the event. It was another SF Bitcoin Devs meetup, or it was more of a Bitcoin, one of the Bitcoin meetups we had on was a Sunday. And I met them and I said, hey, what are you guys working on? And they were like, we're trying to see if we could do, at that time, there was only Bitcoin. There was no Ethereum. And the Ethereum white paper got announced, at North American Bitcoin Conference in January of 2014. So this was around the summer. And I was like, I think it was either Michael's idea or McLean's, hey, why don't we do insurance? And I said, insurance on the blockchain. And you kind of imagine there's no smart contracts at that time. The only smart contracts are what people talk about, right? Nobody has ever created them. And we sat there coming up with an idea for essentially, doing payouts on earthquakes in San Francisco based on multi-sig locks on the Bitcoin blockchain for insurance. Now, that was 2013. that was a prediction market. That was a prediction market. That was predicting, hey, if you have to, if something happens, you get a payout, right? And you lock up the Bitcoin. So if the price goes up, wow, you get a payout. Um, and it was, I think it was his idea he started with. Or I don't know if it was my idea, or maybe I had the idea, but a lot of great things came out of that. And when I see all the work Mitch has done, and of course I have been engaged with McLean and Mitch, over the last 10 years. Um, Michael is always on the forefront of how you can use math and physics and theoretical understanding of wave functions to essentially simulate demand curves or simulate interaction curves. And I have always been impressed by his ability to get down into that. At the same level as Toli, you could talk to Toli Anatoly about anything about state management, data center deep dives on operating systems and programming languages. He knows it perfectly. Likewise, Mitch Igorov. Anything you want to use of how you can use theoretical physics to emulate and impact or work in finance, it's great. If Mitch wasn't in crypto, he'd be in Citadel, and he'd be a multi-billion-dollar guy in Citadel. So I think he's the same guy. I don't know how he keeps his brain fresh, because I have done way too many edibles in San Francisco, and he is still sharp as ever. And so, yeah, the only thing, and he still likes doing everything himself, just like he did back then. So same guy, and he's very focused and very passionate. So continue to be impressed.
Right on. Well, Taariq, a pleasure to have you as always. Good luck with your live stream with the Llamas later today, as well as all your various projects. This has been yet another Llama Party. It is Friday, July 19th, and we will catch you, Squid.